All right, everybody, welcome in. Today, we're doing something a little different, something kind of fun.
Yeah.
We're strapping on those fitness trackers and diving deep into the world of Juan Sandoval.
Okay.
He's an amateur marathoner, and we've got his training logs, race results, and even
Wow.
some glimpses into his Strava profile. So it's
Look,
like we're his coaches for the day,
I like it.
trying to figure out what makes him tick.
Yeah, it's one thing to see, someone's race times up on the board.
Yeah.
But when you get your hands on this kind of data training logs, the Strava that's gold, you can really start to see the how and the why behind their progress.
Absolutely, and that's what makes this so fascinating. So let's jump right in, shall we? We've got Juan's training logs here from earlier this year, April to June 2024 to be exact. And one thing that jumps out immediately, this guy, he's got a plan.
It's organized.
Easy runs, tempo runs, speed work, all scheduled, all with target paces.
Called me impressed.
And check this out. His long runs, they're gradually increasing each week.
Yeah.
90 minutes in April, all the way up to 2 hours by June. And those intervals, he's got specific time targets for each one.
That level of detail, it really shows a commitment to maximizing his training. It's not just about getting out there and running, it's about understanding the why. Like those lactate threshold runs he's
Oh,
doing.
yeah, those sounded brutal.
They are. It's where you're running hard, but not all out sprint hard.
Yep.
Right at that edge where your body starts pumping out lactic acid faster than it can clear it. They're not fun, trust me, but they're essential for marathon training.
So it's about building that endurance, that ability to maintain a faster pace for longer.
Exactly. It's like teaching your body to work smarter, not just harder.
Okay, makes sense. Now, his speed work, he's hitting 600-meter intervals in the 2.05 to 2.08 range.
Wow, that's
For an
moving.
amateur runner, is that, like, actually fast?
That's not just fast, that's seriously impressive,
Yeah.
especially to be able to hold that pace. Shows real discipline. You can tell his training is paying off.
And it looks like he puts that speed to good use. We see him running a 10K in late April, then gearing up for the OC Half Marathon in May.
Ah, classic training progression.
So he's strategically building up the distance.
Absolutely. You start with a good base and gradually increase mileage. Helps to avoid injury and prepares your body for the longer hauls.
Smart.
And check out that week leading up to the OC half.
What, where he's barely running at all?
That's called tapering.
Tapering.
It's crucial. It gives his muscles a chance to fully recover from those intense training weeks. Make sure his energy stores are topped up, ready to fuel him on race day.
So it's like a strategic rest period.
Exactly. It's all part of the plan.
Fascinating. Now, I'm curious to see how his times compare between the 10K and the half marathon.
Let's see. So his goal for the 10K was a 6.1 mile pace. But in the half marathon, he averaged closer to 6.40 per mile.
Huh. That's a pretty big difference, isn't it?
It is, but it actually makes perfect sense when you think about it.
Oh, so.
It's all about running economy.
Okay.
Think of it like this: sprinting for a short distance is totally different from pacing yourself for miles and miles.
Makes sense.
Juan is clearly focused on translating that raw 10K speed into efficient endurance.
Which is way more important for a half or a full marathon for that matter.
Exactly. And speaking of marathons,
The main event, we've got his Chicago Marathon results right here. And let me tell you, this guy can move. He finished in 3 hours, 8 minutes, and 46 seconds.
no way.
That's impressive for anyone, let alone an amateur runner.
3:08. That puts him 417th in his age group
Wow.
and against almost 5,100 other runners.
Talk about some serious competition. So he wasn't just out there to finish, he was racing.
Oh, yeah. Definitely pushing his limits.
I'm getting tired just thinking about it. All right, let's break down his actual race. We've got his splits here. Tell us how fast he ran each part of the marathon.
All right, let me have a look. This is interesting. For the first 25 kilometers, his pacing is incredibly consistent, like clockwork, hovering right around that 6.52 per mile mark we were talking about. But then, that last 10K,
Wait, don't tell me. He hit the wall, didn't he?
sounds about right.
Classic marathon runner problem.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that last 10K is notorious for being where fatigue sets in, even for the most seasoned runners. And his pace dropped down to almost 8 minutes per mile,
Oof, running on fumes at that point.
pretty much.
Amazing. He was able to finish so strong even with that slowdown. Speaking of amazing, we got a